Welcome back to Readers to Fanfiction 3. I'm your Papa Abbott Pete.
I'm Drew, and I've still done nothing wrong.
This isn't take two or anything.
Let me out! I want this podcast. Let me out!
Oh yes, I've locked the doors. Jeremy?
No! Somebody help!
There is
Please,
no
Matthias.
Jeremy, only
Please,
Zool.
send help.
Well, apparently
Everybody's
Jeremy
going
is
nuts.
possessed, and Matthias is still trying to find the door.
I saw ROTW. This isn't random off the wall podcast.
No.
Shut up.
As I said, it is April again, and our our listeners know what that means. Fanfiction 3 is come. And a special thank you to the Red Wolf forums for giving us suggestions this time around. We really do appreciate that. I definitely did read through some of them. I'm not promising I'm reviewing them, but they gave us all good ones to look at. And if you haven't guessed after 3 years of doing this, we don't always look at good ones. We do, but we also like to celebrate the less good ones. And as a preface, if you hear us mention your fanfiction on our show, it is not because we are trying to make fun of you. In so many words, we are celebrating the community. We found your fanfiction worthy enough to talk about.
You should be honored.
Yeah. And you may get a few extra views on this. So, as a reminder, because I had to remind several of our panelists of this off-air, when it comes to the rules for covering fanfictions, we are not covering anything more adult than the series proper. We are not explicitly covering shipping fics. And we're not covering anything that... Yeah, I'm not big on crossovers. I get why I'm not saying other people can't cover it for this episode, but for me, I don't like to do crossovers when it comes to this. I like Red Wolf in its lane, so to speak, where we can get fans indulging in the world, where they explore venues that isn't touched by the main series. And if you think, and as we've said in episodes past, fanfiction is a business. It is a thing in our world. And don't believe me? Go look at the hundreds of Star Wars EU books. And then the Star Trek. And then the Halo.
Heck, look at the last Star Wars movie.
And then the Gears of...
I still contend that Episode 7 is just a fanfic J.J. Abrams wrote back in the day.
Possible. Certainly possible. So, is it impossible that... Impossible.
Impossible. Me fail English? That's impossible.
Is it impossible that franchises have fanfiction? No. And we're here to celebrate it. So, I'll get the ball rolling. Starting with the one I definitely wanted to do since we just happened to end Marl Fox, and that episode was finished by me earlier today, goes out tomorrow.
Dope.
The first one I want to call is Marl Fox Regrets. And this is their username, and I know Jeremy's going to make the Spaceballs joke, Hebrew Princess 91.
Just our luck. A Druish princess.
See, I knew he'd get it out.
Princess 91? Oh my god.
So,
the names, I think the author names are sometimes even more entertaining than the stories.
Oh, I'm not denying that. This is a short one-shot that is recent in terms of fanfiction.net recent, from August of 2017, where this writer basically gave us the final conversation between Papa Marl Fox, who is still not named, and Queen Sylph.
I feel like that could be summed up as, please don't stab me, blah!
No, she's poisoned him.
Please don't poison me, blah!
No, it's their final conversation, their final conversation before he succumbs to his poison. And basically, he's just like, oh, you're a jerk. She's like, oh, well, I didn't kill you. Yes, you did. Come on. Let's be honest with each other.
You killed me.
And you killed me. So, this does follow the book's suggestion that, yeah, he made himself king. It's good to be the king. And as soon as he did, she decided that she had enough of him. You know, you couldn't just do marriage counseling, but, you know, whatever. Works, but...
You know what? I totally want... Somebody needs to make this. I want a sitcom style of the Marl Foxes done like Married with Children.
I was going to say Brady Bunch, but that works too.
No, they're too dysfunctional to be the Brady Bunch.
Yeah. I mean, no, their numbers don't work out for Brady Bunch. Married with Children works. So, it definitely is... It's a decent read. Unfortunately, it doesn't get into its own chapter 2, which is supposed to be coming. He's like, okay, and he's like, yes, our children are terrible and they're all going to end up killing each other, but I still want a final conversation with them. And we don't get it. Which would have been entertaining to say, like, Lanter, you're going to end up killing someone for this. Mocan, no. No.
You're a mean one, Mr. Mocan.
Zero, get a personality.
Askrod, sucks to be you.
Geltor, okay.
Sucks to be you too.
You need some anger management, okay, buddy?
Vannon, you're gonna go down in history, but not for the way you want.
But yes, it's a decent little one-shot, and you know what? I don't mind it. It's actually pretty good. Okay. So, I'll pass the torch here. Drew?
Oh, sorry. I was still reading Marl Fox Regrets. They used a lot of the wrong form of your. Anyhow, I found Warrior Cornflower, which is awesome. It is basically just it's only 3 chapters long right now. I'm not sure if they're ever thinking about continuing it after this. No, it says it's completed. But it is the first book if Cornflower was the warrior instead of Matthias, and she's kind of like a what do you say, a reluctant protagonist. She wants it to be peaceful. She's like, this job is so easy, it's so great, it's so nice that all I have to really do is, like, you know, go out in the woods with other people and make sure that they're not gonna hurt themselves, and this is great. And then Clooney the Scourge shows up, and then she slices a rat in half, and it is tight.
Does she slice him in half lengthwise or on like the stomach?
Lengthwise. Like, just
cool.
Straight up. And it said that, and I can say this because, like you said, we can't get bloodier than the series proper, but this is basically the series proper.
Yeah.
This is true.
Blood splatters on the tapestry. This is when Clooney's taking, you know, his second in command in. However, I don't think his second in command died in the regular first Redwall book. So 10 out of 10. Brian Jakes, you can learn from, who is this person right here? It is Lost in the Golden Pines, which is a cool name.
All right.
And I thought it was neat. They need to use a lot less adverbs. The first sentence is soft clouds lazily rolled across the azure sky. Hardly at all.
Are you sure you didn't discover Stephanie? Are you sure you didn't discover Stephanie Meyer's old fanfiction account?
Oh no! Didn't she actually have an old fanfiction account? I know that the writer of the I have these books somewhere. Oh, it's Cassandra Clare, Clockwork Princess, Clockwork Prince, City of Glass or City of Bones. She was a huge Harry Potter fanfiction writer. And then there was a bunch of controversy about plagiarism. And then she made it big with more plagiarism and changed her name. It was Cassie Clare, now it's Cassandra Clare. So get on it.
We have some of those books in our YA collection. I recognize those titles. I cringe.
I mean, one of the books, I will admit, one of the books is dope. It starts with a demon exploding, and there's a bunch of swords, and there's a kidnapping. It was cool. And we're getting far away from Redwall here. But and then just all went downhill. There was like a whole love triangle. I'm going to write a Redwall fanfiction. It's just going to be a love triangle between Constance and 2 bricks of cheese.
Wait, what?
What? That sounds
Well,
like a
that
cheesy
was
romance.
weird to hear. That was weird
I
to
ship
hear.
it.
I
Matthias,
hope it
what
turns
did you
out
read?
very Gouda.
I was... Jeremy, I was going to do that! I had it! It was the tip of my tongue! I was waiting for dramatic...
Oh, you don't want to spend too much cheddar on that fan fiction. Oh, that doesn't work as much.
God, all right.
I mean, that joke was as easy as 1, 2, breathe.
Matthias, what did you find?
Are you pro-bone?
1, 2, breathe.
Go ahead.
Anyhow,
Are you
yes,
quite finished?
I know you're fed up with it.
that's what corn.
Oh, no.
Okay, I'm done.
Are you sure?
I can't think of a cheese pun for I'm
I can
positive,
hear
but
your
yes.
thoughts trying to think of more types of cheese.
Oh, God.
I'm sure that really gets your goat cheese.
Oh, God.
I'm trying to think of any Redwall characters that killed themselves because I'm gonna try that in a few seconds.
Moving on, Matthias, what fanfiction did you read?
I dug into the Redwall forum's very ample back catalog and dug up Castle's Tribulations by Karen DeStop. It's over 11,000 words, kind of lengthy, but if you have about an hour or so to read through it, I very much recommend it. I actually wrote up like a proper 1-page book report on it. I won't read through the whole thing unless you really want me to.
No.
But the gist of the story is Tassel is the badger mom of Redwall, but she has a dark, mysterious past that I'm guessing is covered in some of the other connected stories that were written by the same author. The extended series this is a part of is called The Vermin Badgers. So just to give you some idea of what you're in for, if you also check Karen's fanfiction.net account, he says that he didn't really care for the way that badgers were kind of lifted up and put on a pedestal, and he wanted to explore some of the more gray aspects of their character. So we have here Tassel, who has manacle scars on her wrists and ankles, has a very scarred face, and has to wear a mask when she's out with the general population, and apparently is confined to within the Abbey walls. She can't leave, and is treated poorly by the rest of the population, in majority, except for the abbot and a select group of others. But most everybody sees her as nothing more than, well, like a. I'm trying to think of something that we have covered because we haven't gotten to Wolverines yet.
A vermin.
Yeah, like a werette. So just very big, brutish, good for nothing except destruction. But we follow her from the wee hours of the morning, like 1 or 2 a.m., all the way through late evening of the same day. and you experience all the mistreatment that she suffers, and the things that she tries to do to help the Dibbins under her care. Important note, Dibbin here is not referring to just like toddlers and preschoolers. It's basically all of the orphans under her care. So having a apprentice healer referred to as a Dibbin being woken up in the middle of the night to go and help assist with a birth, it's like, if you read that as a Dibbin doing that, that would seem a little weird in the series proper. But here he
Come
makes
on,
it very
WO.
clear. Oh no. But it's very clear that it's a wide range of ages that it covers. There are some anachronisms. Tassel has an alarm clock. The bell tower has been replaced with a clock tower. And for some weird reason, all the floors and stairs seem to be made out of marble. I don't get that.
Yo, I'm game for steampunk Redwall.
Yeah, actually, now that you mentioned that, specifically that way, that sounds awesome. But they have to have, like, I don't know, laser guns, lightning guns, something like that.
I would be fine with just Redwall with guns. Like, Clooney shows up with his homies. Matthias flashes a piece. It's just... it all goes downhill real quick.
Oh, you want the urban fiction version of Redwall?
It was just like the Crips and the Bloods.
It ends in 3 seconds. Clay just gets shot because the Second Amendment. This is America.
Oh, it's British fiction. Yeah, I don't know that you could really do that.
Matthias bear arms.
Yeah, the right to bear arms, and his arms just exploding. Smack him up. I don't know what I'm talking about. I've been cooped up for a while.
We all have. So I mean, there is a point where badgers may be technically on the good species, but they are some of the more ruthless of the good species. So yes, there is good meat here to write out, and as you pointed out, we haven't gotten to the mysterious Wolverine in series yet.
Yep. There is a good side to this story, but it only comes from great tragedy. All of Tassel's Dibbins are orphans. She's in charge of all the orphans.
Well,
But
I mean, it is
Orphans in
Redwall.
Redwall? No.
Yeah, but there are other families that do either live at the Abbey or children that are actually bordered there because they have a school. So they treat it like a boarding school and the kids stay there. One of the voles that's staying there but still has parents her name's Matina, and she makes trouble and antagonizes all the orphans and mocks them for not having parents while she does.
Nice.
And Tassel steps in and is basically going to lay down the law, but she can't because of her past and the way people think of her. She has to act better. And then the abbot stops her from carrying out any future punishment for this situation. So she feels like her paws are tied on this. She ends up having a bunch of free time, being able to go and try to pursue various things, try to make herself happy. But they've all been sabotaged in some way, and all the clues point to one culprit, Matina. At the very end of the day, she gets called into a conference with the abbot, and Matina's there looking rather like, I've been caught with my hand in the cookie jar sort of thing. The abbot reveals that her parents have left her, and she's now a ward of the Abbey.
Yo.
And Tassel's first thought of troublemaker just disappears and is instantly replaced with nothing but love and affection for the now newly orphaned child.
Yeah,
And that's how it ends.
What is this called?
Tassel's Tribulations. I linked it in the document.
In the document. All right, because I can't, like, I Googled it, and Google doesn't like it, but I will definitely check that out. That sounds dope.
I will link it in the chat.
I clicked on Lost in the Golden Pine's name. I just thought this was funny. He has another fan fiction called Slayer of Apples, and it literally just says Redwall AU, where everything is the same, but Abbott Mortimer didn't marry Matthias and Cornflower on his deathbed like an idiot, and now these two lovesick, shy idiots have to navigate their own relationship.
All right.
Oh, it's Tassels. I thought you were saying Castle the entire time.
Well, that's what happens when he's out still trying to get an interview with on top of that mountain, right? The news segment joke we made last time.
Oh, yes, that.
Yeah. Jeremy, what did you find?
Okay. So, I found this one on fanfiction.net. Shocker.
Wow.
It's called Warrior from the North by Bright Path 2.
Sick name, like it.
Yep. And this one I found kind of buried in there. This was started in 2013 and finished in mid 2014. And I was a little skeptical on this one. First off, if you're interested in this one, it's 64 chapters, so know what you're getting into. I've only read like the first 10, but I like it so far. And this was one of the Martin has to deal with Noonvale things story, which the first time we did the fan fiction episode, one of the stories I had found didn't really talk about, but it was like, oh, what if Badrang survives and shows up at Redwall? And I'm like, that sounds like a cool concept. And then I started reading it and I was like, this isn't very good. Yeah, it was a good idea. Just, But this one is actually, this one's pretty cool. The concept of it is Noonvale is set upon by a new vermin horde, and Grum leaves and goes to Redwall to find, obviously he's heard stories of a great warrior, and he hopes it's Martin, but is just mainly looking for help. And of course, when he arrives there, he finds Martin, and there's some good stuff here. Like, when Martin first sees Grum, the very first thing he does is just run and find a quiet place to just collect his thoughts and deal with the fact that he almost freaks out. And in all honesty, for someone who tried to push all that away and hide that from everybody, and all of a sudden hear this part of his life is suddenly back in his face, it's a pretty natural response. And something I like about this one is you can see the author's writing ability improve, like, as the chapters go by. Like,
yes.
For the first couple, it felt a little disjointed. Like, the descriptions were kind of short and awkwardly spaced. But at the start of chapter 3, the author put a note up responding to one of her reviewers, and acknowledged that she's like, yeah, my descriptions are a little, to quote them, jerky. And all of a sudden, like, it flowed a lot better. I a lot of parts of the story had the kind of Redwall feel to them, I believe. There's a lot of returning characters. So, like, this is post Legend of Luke. And so it's like I'd say it's like a few seasons after that. It's like Gauntlet and Chugger are a little bit older in it. And it's nice to see some of the characters, and they're pretty well represented. Like, one of the dangers of fan fiction is you'll see like character adaptation decay, where characters will be completely out of character, and acting weird, or it's like, well, I just wanted to write this own story, but I'll throw these characters from this franchise into it, which I've seen many of. But no, like it like makes good references of previous stories. And while I'm not a big fan of stories that throw author's notes at the beginning of every chapter, because I feel it can disrupt the flow of the story. Like I kind of I like it like a book where you're just reading it page to page to page to page. And I think unless there's like specific reasoning, I think all author's notes and things like that should just be at the end of the story. But I will give her credit. Like many authors on fanfiction.net, she has like a disclaimer before each chapter saying like how she doesn't own Redwall. And unlike basically every other disclaimer thing I've ever seen on this website, hers are actually quite funny. My personal favorite, huh?
Well, you might as well read it for us.
She has a different one actually for each chapter.
Never mind.
Yeah, no. My personal favorite was Martin the Warrior appeared in my dreams and has impressed upon me that I do not own most of these characters. Sorry.
Yeah, I like this person.
Yep. So again, that's Warrior from the North by Bright Path 2. I've read like I said, about 10 chapters in. I kind of want to continue it and go through the whole story.
Gotcha.
Oh, Lord, he broke out.
Whoa, I dropped... Oh, crud. Okay.
Did you break your desk?
Oh, no, I went to grab my bottle of water, and it slipped out of my hand and hit my keyboard, and one of the little keyboard stand things just snapped right off and went flying.
Yo, ouch.
I think I can get it back in, but yeah, that was not on purpose. I swear.
Okay.
Your keyboard knew what it was going to be in for, so it prematurely broke itself to make sure you couldn't hurt it further.
Apparently. Holy cow, I should be able to fix it.
Okay, so second round here. I have 3 for the record. I talked about the good one. And Drew pointed out that, yeah, its grammar is not the best, but it's fairly decent. Let's talk about a less good one. And again, if I bring up your fanfiction on Square and I call it less good, I still appreciate you took the time to write out something on a fandom you like. But
he thinks you're a trash human being.
Not quite. But it does mean I'm going to take issue. I may take issue with some of your story writing. And don't forget, on this show, we've called out Brian on occasion. Not that we don't love this franchise, because otherwise, why would we be recording this podcast? But Brian, you put too many songs in ladder books. Sorry.
Yeah. Nothing is sacred around us.
Okay, the next one is The Blade and the Scourge by, yes, this is the username, VampCat. Okay.
I'm getting images.
I love that name so much. That's great.
Wait, clearly,
I know
lost
them.
it again.
Image in my head of Mara dyeing her center stripe purple. Just saying.
Okay, for this one, basically Clooney isn't dead.
All
right. Clooney somehow survived his war against Redwall. The bell did not kill him, and he was put back together by a fox healer named Vega. Okay, and apparently he went home and rethought his life because he's not a major conquering warlord anymore. He just basically goes back to his roots of being a pirate and slave trader.
Neat.
So, okay, whatever. He gets this bromance with Vega. They're really close friends, although.
Does Vega have a mask and a claw and climb on walls?
Not that I know of.
Yeah, I got that.
I was kind of surprised Clooney didn't go for the grandiose thing of trying to raise another army and conquer that mountain That's totally going to be easier than the Abbey, right? But no, he basically some other vermin warlord hires him with Vega to go capture slaves and bring them back. And that's all well and good. That premise by itself, the fact that he survived Redwall, the fact that someone managed to medevac him out of Redwall without Matthias noticing and protesting this.
I'm more impressed that they got him out from underneath the bell.
Yeah. And, he goes back to his old life of basically piracy and, hey, what's a good little bit of slave trading between villains? But
I kind of like that idea of, like, him taking jobs, and we don't really see bounty hunters in this series.
Nope. But where this starts to go wrong is that even though the author in their own notes says, I'm not trying to make a Mary Sue, you made a Mary Sue.
Whenever you say, I'm not trying to make a Mary Sue, you need to take a double look at your character.
Let's just introduce a mouse maid named Blade.
Yeah.
Vamp,
I love her.
Blade. All right.
Yeah.
Blade leads a slave rebellion on Clooney's perfectly good ship. And, eventually breaks out, but Clooney, instead of, doing his job and keeping his slaves in line, kind of lets her get away with it for a lot of it. And it's pretty much outright hinted that he and Blade kind of see something in each other. So, ew.
It's still better than Ratty the Scourge's I Love You, Clooney that I covered way back when.
But ultimately, Blade breaks out the slaves, and they go on their freedom, and Clooney basically goes back to his bromance with Vega instead.
Just imagining Wesley Snipes is voicing Blade the Mouse. Oh, no, wait, that's a girl. Never mind.
I mean, it still would be entertaining. But...
Yes, it would.
I disagree.
I would quote Blade, but I can't.
I love Blade is dope. Clooney is Scourge, much better pirate than was a warlord. 10 out of 10 fan fiction. I skipped right to the epilogue, and the first thing I noticed is that they used forward slashes whenever there's thoughts, and that weirds the heck out of me. But can you put things in italics in fan fiction done that? That's kind of.
I mean, they years ago, they built like a text editor into that site. Back well and true when Jeremy and I were just looking at fan fictions for fun. So I would think you could.
There was stuff in italics, but the most little tip to fan fiction writers: use italics if you're doing emphasis. Don't use all caps, please.
Oh, jeez, Crow. Yeah, no, I've seen that a lot lately. That seems to be a trend where people, or even like an exclamation mark. Let your reader kind of decide the tone, but I feel like they're not gonna get it. They're not gonna get that they're yelling if I say they're yelling and it's not in all caps. It's
You can't just have characters say how they feel. That makes me feel angry.
Well, it's also for I've noticed when people want to emphasize specific words, they'll use all caps, and please use italics. Honestly, the only time a character who is shouting should have all caps is the character Zoa from Chrono Cross. Because if you ever play that game, that's how that character's dialogue shows up, and it's hilarious. But that's the only exception I'm giving people.
I've been looking at the memery that was Homestuck 8 years ago. And the fact that every single character has a different typing quirk makes me want to stab my eyes out.
Still better than Plainsong.
What's Plainsong?
My high school... This is years ago, mind you, but way too many that I care to count about it. But
old boomer.
When you go to a private Catholic high school, the English teachers have a lot more free reign to do whatever books they feel like. So there is a book that came out 2002 called Plainsong, and it was just it was a generic Americana novel, and yeah, they made a crappy made-for-TV movie about it. But the writer's whole thing was he's going to be rebellious and not use any quotation marks for dialogue.
Oh my! Wait, that happens in The Road. It's Cormac McCarthy is like, no quotation marks. Nobody gets everybody just talks in the middle of things. I'll just say who said things. I hate it. And
yeah,
that's,
I do too.
Did that win a Pulitzer? The Road won a lot of awards, but I can't. I'm trying to finish it because I've heard great things about it, and it's just, why you gotta be edgy like that? Why you gotta do that? What does it serve?
If it's any consolation, we also had to read Cold Mountain, and the movie is a lot better because the book made me want to burn things really hard.
Like the book.
Okay, sometimes that works though. Yeah.
Cold.
Drew,
oh my God.
no matches.
No, Drew.
Wait, I'm right here. You can't stop me.
Cold Mountain, in its original form, is a terrible book, and I know I'm going to take flack for that, but mostly because the main character, when he's trying to abandon the Confederate cause, walk all the way home at the halfway point of the book, is literally captured by the Confederate Army, taken all the way back, and has to start all over. Because the writer needed more time.
Nice.
Moving on. Did anyone else have a second? I think was I the only one to multiples?
Oh, my next fan fiction is No Country for Old Men, also by Cormac McCarthy. That one turned out pretty well. Good movie. One of these is Martin the Warrior goes snowboarding and sprayed up. Not even joking. It's It's Gomph convinces Martin the Warrior to go snowboarding, and then he films the entire thing because he placed some barriers at the bottom of the hill. So Martin's like, "This is easy," and then he does like a triple front flip, and Gomph is like puts his son out of his lap, and he's just like, "Okay, plug yours. This is about to get terrible. Run!"
So you're telling me Martin and Goff went into a bucket list mode, and when they got older, and definitely had to do things.
Yeah.
Let's shred some mountains, Martin. Woo!
Gago. Dreamin'.
No.
What?
None of that.
Don't give it up, Martin.
What?
Moving on.
It's the 4Kids version of One Piece. It had a really great rap at the beginning of it. It was the pinnacle of my childhood.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yes,
You have a very bad
I've
childhood.
tried to forget about that.
I don't think I've heard that in over like 13 years. God,
Moving
I feel
on.
old.
So, moving on. The last one I have to talk about is it's not good, it's not bad, it's middle of the road. It's just unfortunately ended way too soon. It's one of these fan fictions, and I'm guilty of it when I was a terrible middle schooler and wrote fan fiction. Yeah, it happened.
We all do that. We all do that.
This one's called Feldo's Victory, and it's purely a what if. You can clearly tell it was meant to be longer, but it's basically what if Feldo had won the fight with Batarang. And
The book would have ended. Book would have ended about 50 pages early.
I mean, probably.
The first thing that happened when I Googled that was the TV tropes page on Feldo, crazy enough to work. That is interesting to me. Where's Feldo even? Oh.
The very first chapter is pretty much copied right from the book, and fan fiction writers, look, if you're gonna do this, where even if you write a what if, people are going to read what you're doing because they know the original. You don't need to copy and paste from the original. You really don't.
I would say the only time you should be copying and pasting anything from the original work is if you are quoting a character. Like if you're using a character's quote, that you think will improve the story, go ahead and quote it. That totally makes sense. If you want to quote like a speech or something, go for it if you think it's relevant to the story. Otherwise, please do not copy and paste descriptions or full segments out of the book.
Okay. That being said, the second chapter actually goes into Battering is now ultra murdered on the beach. And what the short-term implications is that, yeah, his horde doesn't really know what to do next. And the good guys are like, yeah, let's go have a feast to celebrate this. And that's where it ends. Because I kind of want to see where this goes in. Because, yes, the Vermin Horde is probably going to be leaderless, but not for very long. That story had Clog, who is strong enough a personality that he would take over. Now, would he still engage in warfare with the Fern Freedom Fighters? Probably not. I don't know. It's a really big. It's a big question. Does he have more troops? Yeah, but is he going to have any taste for going against these people who killed his not BFF Battering? I don't know. But do you think Feldo is going to stop for a second? Even if he killed Badrag in this? Oh no, he's going to break all of them.
I must break you. Just imagine like Martin chilling at Martin and Rose chilling in Noonvale, and Martin's like, man, should probably get back to that. You know, I need to kill Batarang. I need to get my father's sword back. And then this is like one day Bultred shows up carrying the sword, like, yeah, Feldo said he took care of that for you. Here you go.
Oh, and Brom's fine. Rose, you don't need to worry. They're on their way back.
Yep. And they're like, oh, Martin, you can stay forever, and thereby removing the rest of the series.
So it's no longer the Bloodball series, it's the Noonvale series.
Yeah. Yeah, this is true. Well, they'll be like, Martin, if you really want to, we'll take you there. You can spit on Badgering's grave. You took the time to bury him? Okay, fine. You can stomp on his corpse that we left out for the seagulls to eat because we don't care about him.
I can imagine him going all the way in Clog and telling Clog while he's there, he's like, oh, is that what you want to do? And it's right over there.
Yeah. If you want to use my clogs, you can dance on it.
But yeah, those are the three I looked at. And yes, I may put out another episode this month because we're all going stir crazy.
Yeah!
All the ones suggested.
I'm going shaken crazy, not stirred.
Ah, okay. We can still do that.
Am I the only one who's managed to stay sane through all of this?
You presume I was sane before.
I was going to say, stay is an interesting modifier there.
Yeah, I had a plan.
Feels defensive there, Jeremy.
I had a plan for this long before it happened.
I'm not crazy. The voices tell me I'm not. We're perfectly fine here.
I got distracted.
You may be schizophrenic, but at least you have each other.
All I hear are the voices telling me to kill everyone before they kill us.
All right, that's all.
Okay,
folks.
okay.
You guys didn't hear that?
Thank you,
Bye.
Caboose. Thank you, Caboose.
I like solitude.
So that being said, those were the fanfictions we looked at. But it's still April, folks. We may yet do another fanfiction episode this month.
No.
Oh, we're still doing the trivia episode. Fair?
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah, I have to write those questions. So that'll be my thing this week when I'm not completing that 1,000-piece puzzle in the other room. Doing my night class over the internet. So, but yeah, we'll still have a trivia contest. And what are our teams again?
It is me and KD and everyone else.
Just imagine we get to that episode and then Drew just goes, all right, Katie, you take care of it. I'll be here for moral support.
Oh, yeah. Are you kidding me? She's got this.
Oh, I'm going to have to try hard then.
Yeah, I'm not sure, dude. Katie is like a photographic memory of everything that's happened in the series. I love it.
I will try hard with a vengeance.
The vengeance. I got
will live free or
distracted
try hard.
because I was like, how is apparently Feldo says it's crazy enough to work at some point, which is why I was TV tropes. I made the mistake of clicking on a link, which took me to the Animorphs TV tropes.
Oh no.
And you know how that goes. Now I'm like, what the heck is the absurdly sharp claws? How many things? Oh my god, there's a lot. Accidental adultery. A chat with Satan.
TV tropes is a hole from which you will never recover.
It is.
I
need to read the entire Animorph series. It looks too good. Like I've heard too many good things about it to not pick it up.
Well, the only problem with that series is that it got ghost written about halfway through.
Yeah.
I mean, Applegate still produced and made sure the story goes where she wanted, but there is a definite difference in quality when she and her husband weren't doing it versus the team of ghostwriters. And I've mentioned them on air, but yeah, I took a lot of inspiration from Morph Club, which is a podcast that has since finished, but they did the entire Animorphs franchise, even the TV show.
Right, yo.
Or you could always play the Animorphs Shattered Reality PlayStation 1 game.
Or the Game Boy Color game.
Yeah.
Both of which were on Awesome Games Done Quick this year.
Their Game Boy Color game was, hey, this Pokemans thing is really really cool. Let's make a quick game to copy off that franchise.
I think the Animorphs wiki says it best. Synopsis: the game is centered around gameplay that is really like a dumbed down version of Pokemon games. Example: people look like they do in Pokemon games, and you get morphs by defeating the animals/aliens you fight in Pokemon-style combat. Well, there we go.
Yeah. Well, now that Redwall has a video game, we're definitely going to have to do an eventual episode on that.
It's true.
If people want to play that, and I definitely do. So
I play all the games.
All of them?
All of them. I have Street Fighter the movie, the game for the Sega Saturn.
Well, until I bought it from you, you had plumbers don't wear ties.
Yes, I did.
And now I have it.
Yes. It's worth a lot more than what I paid for it too. And what you paid me for it too. I looked it up recently on eBay. It's like doubled in value.
Nice.
Yep. Yeah, I got a lot of random stuff.
Anyway, we're way off topic here.
What's the topic?
Next episode will be our Redwall trivia for the month. And we may do one more episode in April. I think Matthias and I wanted to talk about just kind of like the Redwall online community back when that was a thing.
Woo, boomers. I'm calling you old.
I'm only 35.
Oh, jeez. He's gonna die soon.
That makes me a millennial, youngin'.
Same, dog. I'm on the young end, though.
You are a millennial, but you're just on the young end. Yes.
Grandpa?
Are we sure we can't shove him into Gen Z?
I am right on the cusp, by the way. I've got Zoomer tendencies, but millennial responsibilities, so it's a weird place to be.
So you just sit around and complain all the time then? Because that's what it sounds like that marriage is.
Oh boy.
All right, so that being said, I'm Pete. I'm your Papa Abbott.
I'm Jeremy.
I'm Matthias. I'm not talking over anybody.
I'm talking over though. So.
Oh wait, we need to tell people where they can find us.
Yes, we do.
Where can they find us, Jeremy?
Well, you can find us recorderonthewall.com. We are featured on the official Redwall forums, as has been made obvious by this episode. You can also communicate to us on Twitter at ROTWPod. We have an email address, rotpod@gmail.com. And also, our podcasts are up on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Play Podcasts.
Mm-hmm. That was good, but all of those were wrong. You can find us at home, being responsible citizens. Stay safe.
You forgot the subreddit.
Oh, right, the Eulalia subreddit.
Folks, we'll see you in a week or two for Redwall Trivia.
Yay! I love you.
Someone please unlock the door now.
Oh, fine.